Hello and welcome to the Never Drop Your Sword podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that sound so exciting? Let's
Yes,
try it again.
Is exciting. Hello
and welcome to the Never Drop Your Sword podcast.
Doesn't that sound exciting?
Oh, I forgot to do that. Well, we are here today because we've had something on our mind.
Yes.
About heroes. And I really love what you have in the notes. We haven't had a chance to actually dive into anything yet, but Cheyenne here sent me some notes on the hero versus the protagonist. And I really loved that. So I can't wait to dive into that. Here at Never Drop Your Sword, we talk about everything time travel, adventure, and fantasy. And within those worlds live our faith, our society, our dreams, and our goals.
Yes, faith and cultural current issues weaving all the way through. But today's actually Veterans Day that we're recording. Yeah. So it's a great day to talk about heroes. Thank you to all of the veterans. It probably won't be posted today, but
right.
Thank you.
Yeah, it won't be posted on November
We're forever
11th,
grateful for you.
Exactly. And we're here. The set is decorated by my lovely niece, nephew, your children. Got our monitors here and our own little audience in the corner.
They did a fantastic job.
They did. This is very comfy, cozy. We just got done with a workout, so we're feeling very good about ourselves.
Yes, that was a very heroic thing for a mom to do, is work out in the morning.
First thing in the morning.
After this, we're having coffee.
Yes, or maybe in between.
We could have it now.
We could have it now.
Or tea.
Or tea. Right, exactly.
We have some mice in here that make noise. They're over there on the couch.
Yeah.
Some mice. Heroes.
So,
wait, before we do that.
Oh, yes.
What was the last movie you watched?
The last movie I watched, this is actually a great one. Was Lansky, which was a movie about Meyer Lansky, who was an Italian Jewish mobster in the United States. Who passed away in 1983, I believe. And the FBI is still after $300 million that they believe he hid away. And this film was about $300 million, which from the 40s is worth probably $1 billion now.
That's fantastic.
We are not good at math. Do not trust us on any mathematical numbers.
Tell the mice.
Right. Well, no, we're excellent at math. So the film was about this author. It's based on true events. I haven't done all my research on exactly how true these things are, but an author was contacted by Mr. Lansky to write his biography. And so in the process of it, the author gets contacted by the FBI to snitch on Lansky because they're looking for the $300 million. And the case had been completely dropped. It was a cold case as far as them still investigating him and trying to put him behind bars because he had people killed. He helped with the National Crime Syndicate. He helped found that.
Oh my goodness.
And they started Las Vegas. They started the casinos in Cuba.
Wow.
They were just huge. He started all the, I guess they call them carpet games in New York and everything. And he was involved in funding and saving the state of Israel. They came to the Israelites came to him to help fund their call to be a state.
Wow. In 1948? Wow, that's
yes, and he's a mobster. I mean, a dirty
That's down
scoundrel.
here at the bottom of the notes.
Yeah.
Unlikely
we talk
about
hero.
all the cool things is we have the term unlikely hero, which
right.
we'll probably go into part 2 of heroes, I'm sure.
But. I'm sure. This will be a long discussion, and then to wrap up, he was never convicted because he had also, whenever World War II was breaking out across the seas, there were Nazis coming to the United States, doing secret meetings, and maybe not actually so secret, but trying to get support and sympathy from the United States against the Jews. Well, Lansky and his lackeys went and found those clubs because he's a Jew and he's like, absolutely not. They are not coming here and doing this. They went and beat him up.
Wow.
So the United States,
really weird way.
Really weird way. So the United States government approached him to help them take out communist parties in the United States.
Wow.
So he was considered a war hero. And that's why the federal government protected him from being.
So who's in the movie? Oh, I can think of Adrian Brody is about the only
Right.
person
No,
I can think of
it
who
wasn't
played
Adrian
that.
Brody. No, it was I would need your phone to look at the names. Let me see your phone real quick. Mice.
Mice, go
Can
get
a
the
mouse
phone.
get a phone?
Whoa!
Crazy mice. Okay. Oh wait, is it locked?
No.
I
mean,
could
yes. My phone is locked.
yeah, I could describe the people to you, but I'll just look it up. And I don't remember their names.
Well, the last movie that I watched was
Yeah, what was the last film you watched?
I actually finished the whole thing last night, but it was We Bought a Zoo with Matt Damon.
Oh yeah.
And
how was that?
oh, it's kind of a slow-paced movie.
This one was very slow.
Yeah. I'm not as good at describing movies as you are, but Matt Damon plays a bereaved widower who leaves the city in his writing job to
another writer
take care of his children and give them a adventure for a life because he felt like everything was going downhill. His daughter's 7 years old and his son's 14 or something. And he has all the like Disney-ish sort of fatherhood, single father things, like, his son doesn't listen and the daughter's really cute or whatever. But it deals with grief and the courage to keep believing and to make really risky choices because they're right, not because Crockett, no.
No, that's special equipment. You can't do that there.
Risky choices because they're right.
Mm-hmm.
And anyways, he takes his kids out to the country and they buy this property that actually has a zoo on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And the zoo's sort of falling down and there's like minimal staff and Scarlett Johansson is the zookeeper.
Mm-hmm.
The acting is compelling and everything. And of course you can't not like be invested because Matt Damon takes you with him through all the emotions of the story.
Right.
But anyway, he sinks his entire fortune into the zoo and of course in sort of a Disney kind of way, bad things happen. It looks real bad, but then they open the opening day, like they sell out and whatever.
Right.
I mean, it has that in it too, but it has gives you a good perspective on grief and also grace because you go through things in life that make you less than the person you want to be.
Right. Yeah. And that's something that happens in the hero's journey. So it was Sam Worthington played the author, the Australian guy, or I think maybe he's not Australian. I've always thought he was Australian.
Oh yeah, from Avatar.
Yeah. Yep. And then Harvey Keitel, very famous older actor.
Mice, y'all are gonna have to leave. You're too loud.
Too loud, mice.
Go on. Go to the bedroom or something. Or outside. In the yard.
Please.
Oh, please. Go now.
Mom, I want to stay in here.
But you have to be completely quiet. So it's not that much fun. So you either have to go outside or you risk the wooden spoon. Probably. Okay.
Discipline is the heroic effort.
Yeah.
And
So
parenting, just gonna put that out there too. So let's define a hero.
yeah, so I wanted to go ahead and look up just like what Webster's dictionary says a hero is.
Yeah, what does it say?
So there's quite a few, meanings, but the essential meaning of hero, according to Webster's dictionary, is a person who is admired for great or brave acts of fine qualities. A person who's greatly admired, or the chief character in a story, play, movie.
Oh,
There it is. Yeah. The hero equals protagonist is another kind of definition that it has. And then full definition of a hero, a mythological or legendary figure, often of divine descent, endowed with great strength or ability, an illustrious warrior, a person admired for achievements of noble qualities, shows courage, usually the principal character in a literary or dramatic work. And then, yeah.
Okay, so like in other words, a working definition would be someone.
Oh, here you go. The It comes from the Latin word heros.
Okay.
I think I'm saying that right. Or Greek heros, maybe something kind of pronouncing like that.
Very good. BS
Meaning
there. That was
defined in the first way, it
Uh-huh.
was circa 1522, but it's been around since like the 14th century in the way that we know it.
good. Okay.
So that's the official definition of hero.
Okay. Yeah, working. Sorry, buddy.
He's not a
Um,
trainer.
a working definition of hero might be something like, a character in stories, a character that has something special about them
Right.
that gives them the faith or the courage to do the impossible.
Mhm.
And that's what makes them admirable, because they, actually do it when everyone
Right.
said they couldn't.
Right.
I mean, that's one way of
Well,
looking
then
at it.
there's the hero's arc that we know that many great films and stories have followed. The story of the hero, according to like George Lucas with Luke Skywalker,
Mhm.
is one of the most famous hero
Mhm.
arcs that's
Mhm.
clearly defined throughout the series. You start with somebody who has a gift, who's endowed,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't know it,
Mhm.
and is called. It's kind of swept into a journey, but also called to this great event where it's up to him to make the difference for everyone.
Yes, we
And
watched Aragon the other night.
There you
too.
go. Yeah. So then you get called, and then he reaches this climactic point where he's getting his gifts, but then now there's obstacles in the way
Mhm.
to where now he comes to a decision, a crossroads where he either decides to take his mantle and keep going with his journey,
Destiny.
or to
So
quit.
yeah, I mean, would you say that a hero is his destiny a choice, or is it like gonna happen?
That is one of the largest debates around a hero.
Mhm.
And, we often read a lot of stories, specifically. Movies tend to give us the unlikely, the anti, all this sort of
Mhm.
thing. But in books, we usually end up having a character that no matter what they do,
Mhm.
they're constantly controlled by their
Yeah.
destiny, their fate. And then, this idea that, no matter what they decide to do, something's going to keep them on that path of destiny. And they might have a lag time where they're in between,
Mhm.
they're discouraged. They lost their gifts because they've lost their courage or something like this.
Mhm.
And then they go on. And so it's,
yeah, I would throw in there though, which is more like my personal idea of hero.
yeah. Go ahead and tell us what
And
your
a character,
personal idea is.
here's one example, but this is the kind of character that there are some of these in 1232. But I would say your destiny is more of a choice. You get equipped with all these things, and it's whether you use them or not. So it's like Captain America. It's a choice based on something that's inside of you that something is right. And that comes to the next question, which is, can you have heroes without honor?
So if you're listening on a podcast or on YouTube, in the comments, let us know. Do you think a hero can be a hero without honor?
Mhm.
Is that possible? What does honor really play within that role?
And what part does morality play in heroism?
Right.
In the idea of heroism, I guess I could say. It does play a part. I'm just gonna, spoiler alert.
Yeah,
there.
spoiler alert. Yeah. Well,
it
exactly. I would say that, in my personal opinion, the only reason why a hero would be.
Okay, here's an idea.
Yeah.
For example.
Okay.
George Custer. At the time that he lived, he was a heroic figure.
He had military prowess. He had accomplishments.
And he was courageous, and he was afraid of nothing.
Illustrious warrior.
And he was very, skilled, unless, the comedies have gotten to your head. Because there's pretty funny stuff on Custer. But looking back now, because the culture around him and the sense of morality and stuff has changed. Is Custer a hero now? Or is he the bad guy?
Right. Yeah.
So your morality really has to be, especially if
who's remained a hero throughout time.
Right. If you are writing a character that is to be a hero, it has, I'm not an authority, but you got to base it on something that doesn't change. A morality, a sense of righteousness, if you will, that does not shift with culture or with perspective, because what's right is right, no matter what, whether you think it is or you think it isn't. And anyway.
And we've fallen into an interesting phase in entertainment and arts whenever we're relating the stories of heroes, because we have, like, for example, the Will Smith movie Hancock, where he's an anti-hero. He's like the worst of the worst. He's a drunk superhero.
Deadpool and all those.
Deadpool. Yeah. And they're by far, not great people whatsoever. You would meet them and be like, ugh. But then they're endowed with these powers. And so thus they have the ability to make change happen. And the only thing that they tend to cling to is that they can help people. And that little bit of helping people helps reform them and redeems
a little bit of
their deal.
Rough edges.
But then we come to this conundrum where, okay, well, who do you help? If helping people is the end all and be all
like
of your moral compass,
what is it? With great power comes great responsibility.
Right? Yeah. So, but then it's like, okay, well, what is that responsibility? Because we have superheroes who say, well, the responsibility is to save the universe and control it
help
in a lot of ways and
stop all the bad guys.
But then at the same time, you see them tearing through the streets and cars are flying everywhere and apartment buildings are blowing up. And it's like, okay, well, exactly who are you helping here?
Public disturbance.
Yeah. And they're helping the greater good. Well, then we get into the issue of Thanos, who Thanos is like, well, people are bad, and if I wipe out half of them with a snap, we'll all be better off. So then where's the greater good? So I actually think that people have no idea what a hero is. We've been trying to tell these different facets of a hero because we like human heroes more so than not. That's why we've been trying to humanize all of our superheroes so much. They've got so much baggage.
To be relatable, their drama and their relationships and their feelings,
then their personal feelings and their abandonment and that all of a sudden they don't know what's really right anymore.
But they kind of end up doing it on accident.
Right, yeah, and then
it's not the choice.
It's somebody normal who comes along and prods
it's like
them.
Captain America, but.
Right. Well, Captain America starts off as a human with a moral backbone and an honor, and he is raised in an honor and shame-based society.
Honor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is why the honor is important to your morality, because that Hancock has no honor, Deadpool has no honor. Okay. They have a certain moral compass that is impressed upon them because they have these abilities to help people. They help people. They feel better about themselves. A corner of them is redeemed. And so thusly they keep this going. But then, like you said, you have characters like Captain America, pre the stupid TV show, that who was raised as a human being with a moral compass, with the reason why I'm helping people is because it's right. No one should die. This should not be happening in the world today.
Yeah, he shouldn't beat up on the little guy.
Yeah, exactly. He has this whole thing. And then he's raised in an honor shame society to where if you do the wrong thing, you are shamed by society. If you do the right thing, you are exonerated by society. And that in and of itself puts him being like, okay, look, he's always trying to enlist, right? I could not enlist, but that would be shameful on me because every young man is going over there to enlist and is because I want to be honorable. And so he goes and enlists and he's constantly denied, but that does not make him quit. He finally gets in. And then of course the best scene is, tackling the grenade. And then from that, we now have all these other characters that are surrounded by him, and Captain America, kind of leads the charge. And so
they don't have the same sense of honor that he does.
No. I mean, you look at Iron Man, you look at Thor,
Black Widow.
They all get better being around him.
Yes. Well, we might have given a little bit away there. But, so, okay, to finish up this little part, what do all heroes from all the stories that you can think of have in common? The heroes, not just the protagonists.
Right, yeah, because we're going to talk about the difference.
Yeah, we can call Deadpool and the ilk protagonists of the story.
Protagonists, yeah.
But heroes.
Heroes. Well, I mean, you wrote
Okay,
the question, so you
name
have
2
an
or
answer.
3 heroes that we can look at for what they have in common.
Okay, well, we'll let's grab we'll grab Captain America,
Okay.
since we're talking about him, and we'll grab
Lansky.
yeah, I mean, he's unlikely hero. Okay, we
Okay.
can grab him, or let's grab many people probably the video went down. That's okay. Oh, well, we should probably fix it.
Boop.
Beep. How are we going on here? Oh yeah, we went 20 minutes. Okay, so let's let me get my camera to work.
Okay.
And then we'll try to wrap this up a little
And then
bit.
I'll make you some coffee. Do you
Okay.
want to pause and get coffee?
Yeah, maybe we'll just pause and
Okay.
get coffee. All right, here. I'll hit the Okay. So we paused for some coffee.
Hey, Charity.
And that goes with my movie, the Lansky movie, The Mafia.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're wearing U-Spur. But we were just talking about listing some heroes and what they have in common.
Mhm.
And we were talking about fictional heroes specifically. So
Yes.
I said Captain America to keep with our theme.
And
You
mine
said-
is James Bond.
Excellent choice. Okay, now that he is okay, well, I guess I won't say what happened to him, but everyone probably knows.
Well, but James Bond is, I have this strange fascination.
Right.
Not with like any particular guy, but it's like the character of James Bond. He's a despicable. At times in my life, I've hated James Bond.
Sure.
Times in my life, I've like, especially like the more recent ones that have been written better. It's like, man, he's actually a good guy. He's just,
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't make excuses about stuff. He takes all that hurt inside.
Inside,
You
yeah.
know,
Mhm.
but he still does what's right because he has this one prevailing value, and that is loyalty to his country. He is loyal to his country. It's weird.
Right.
It's kind of weird, but it is a heroic like value, I guess you
And
could say.
a country within the world of James Bond, we have the Queen, we have MI6, and we have a lot of honor wrapped in that. Now,
So,
misused
honor is
and
something
abused.
that those
but
heroes have in common.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what those two have in common.
Yep.
Because
And even though like James Bond's perception of honor is drastically different in the morality aspect than Captain America's perception of honor,
Right.
which, he has like one girl that he loves in his
Yeah.
entire lifetime that lasts like so many years because he fell asleep in the,
It was frozen.
when it's frozen.
Yeah.
But James Bond has many more than one
right.
women that he loves or doesn't. The morality question.
Yeah, on a moral level, if you were to put them side by
Mhm.
side, you would say, nothing in common. But then
the honor.
But then the honor
sense
comes
of
into
honor,
play,
yeah.
and that's why there's actually a ton of trust
Mm-hmm.
involved in Captain America's decisions and his group of people he's always taking on his hero's journey with him, and also James Bond's.
Mm-hmm.
James Bond's. James's Bonds's. I write books. So, that's something that is very interesting when looking at a hero is who trusts the hero.
Mhm.
Even when you're writing and telling a story.
Right.
So funny, taking it back to what we were talking about in the movies we discussed earlier, the Lansky movie, is, we have this mob boss, Lansky, and Jet and I were watching the movie and we find out that the author, he gets hit up by the FBI, and we've just heard Lansky telling about how he's gotten rid of snitches and how he's always taking care of his people and like the whole thing. And this author isn't going to tell him that the FBI came, and we're like, idiot, tell him you can trust. Like, who are you going to trust? The government? Who's like, we've been recording you already. We've been thinking we sent you this girl to sleep with you so that you can, get close and she can see all your stuff. Whereas here's this unlikely hero who has, I don't know, I wouldn't say that Lansky has honor, but he has the next best thing, which is a respect, which I would definitely, if
A
I was,
code. He has a code.
If I was
Yeah.
that author, I would absolutely been like, because they had made an agreement at the
Mhm.
beginning of the movie, like, hey, you don't release anything without my permission.
right.
And the author had made a handshake agreement based on the two characters that he wasn't gonna betray Lansky.
Well, and
so
it's kind of like,
and I'm thinking, okay, you made an agreement with this mob boss.
Mhm.
He's telling you about how he's killed people, how this happened, how that happened,
and
despicable
then
stuff.
you're gonna double cross.
Then you're gonna double. So there's not only that issue, like, well, that's stupid, but
So the
there's
writer
like
is not the hero.
yeah, exactly. The author is definitely not the hero, and he's the one who made an honor agreement, a pact with this boss to not betray his trust.
Mhm.
And what does he do? He betrays his trust.
So there was more honor among the thieves than
Exactly.
Whoa, that's a whole
That's a whole
Robin
nother-
Hood kind of a
Yeah,
deal. We won't
which-
get into that till later.
Mice.
The mice are back. Of course. Maybe have an apple.
Yes.
So the other thing is you have sometimes a hero, and we're using movies. I just wanted to add we're using movies because not everyone has read the same books.
Right.
Books don't have the same sort of audience.
Yeah, I mean, we could
But
go on and on about.
We aren't movie makers yet,
yeah,
necessarily.
although we've done our fair share.
but we actually have written a book.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So
let's talk a little bit about that. So we've discussed some very big ideas. Let's see if we can kind of come down just a little bit and talk about.
that's fun.
I know, but we've been a little general
Okay.
in our idea. I'll ask one question, which only to be addressed because we're talking about in modern day terms in 2021.
Mhm.
Can a female be a hero?
But that's all about whether, we know they had honor in common, right?
Right.
Do females have honor?
Yes.
Well, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So
I-
here is why, dear listener, watcher, we refer to men because we've never felt misrepresented in the
Mhm,
hero sphere because we know that women can have
that's a
honor
really
as
good point.
well.
Yeah.
And we look up to all these men. We've only mentioned pretty much male characters.
Mhm.
Not because we feel like the patriarchy has brainwashed us to think that only men can be heroes, but because we just see ourselves in them and
Mhm.
not in any weird twisted way.
Because of that common sense of honor.
Exactly.
Well, it's like
Peggy.
Peggy.
Captain America's
Yeah.
gal. If you watch her TV show, she has
Mhm.
nothing but honor and
Mhm.
respect. She's working for an honorable thief, which is Tony Stark's dad.
Mhm.
So we've got this little tie in here.
Mhm.
But she is faithful to Steve. There's
Mhm.
guys that, she kind of likes and everything, but she's faithful to Steve. And in her character, she shows honor.
Mhm.
And so absolutely I'd want to be like Peggy. Absolutely I'd want to be like, Black
Salt.
Yeah, Salt. Black Widow has
I haven't seen Black Widow.
I haven't seen the
But
movie,
I-
but
but
throughout
I-
the
yeah.
other, she's an honorable thief essentially, and she's respectable. And that's what we're looking for in a hero.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter their skin color, if they're male or female, where they're or a creature. I mean,
Of course.
Chewbacca has honor. He's a hero. I mean, come on. It doesn't really matter.
Spirit and Rain. I mean,
Right, Spirit.
Spirit.
Great
Rain,
hero.
The horses.
The horses.
Well,
Yeah. I mean, we could go
Seabiscuit.
Seabiscuit. Seabiscuit's definitely the hero of that movie and that story and in real
And
life. And
what's
stuff.
the movie? Then it's a newish Disney, like dissing Balto. I can't remember what it's called.
Togo?
Togo has honor.
Togo has honor. And Balto, any of those things, it doesn't
That's what
matter
makes them heroic.
What we can all relate to. What makes, you had a question here, do fictional heroes really make a difference in how you see yourself?
Do
We're
they?
answering that question right now for you and I
Mm-hmm.
because of the character traits of honor and morality.
We see
respect,
it acted out.
trust.
So that brings us to, let me just say that again because it was important. And then we'll
Yeah, go ahead.
go, because, okay, the fictional heroes that you've read about or seen in the movies, maybe you could say they inspired you, but really what you've seen is the moral dilemma.
Mhm.
All heroes have this moral dilemma.
Right.
They have the sense of honor. And then they have this choice to use their powers, whether it's, superhero or just courage, to use it for this great destiny
Mhm.
or not, to go the direction that everyone else goes. And usually they're the lonely,
Right.
one lonely choice that they make to go that direction. That's usually what they have in common. I mean, generally speaking. And then, you see that acted out in the fiction. And there are sometimes these bright flashes of clarity in your life when you see yourself making those choices.
Mhm.
Okay, so they are somewhat of an example, but not in a way that is like, I'm going to do what Captain America did. It's
Right.
more like, I know what's right.
I know what's right.
And it kind of builds up your courage a little bit, or your faith a little bit. That fictional story leads your mind to a place that may not have gone otherwise.
Yep.
So, which brings us to 1232. We have lots of characters, but there's one in there who has these heroic qualities. And because of the qualities that he models for the rest of them,
Mhm.
they end up making different choices in the story.
Exactly. And he still has a hero's arc. He was endowed not with supernatural powers, but with position.
Actually, I beg to differ.
Well, yes. Well, yeah, but we won't give anything away. But he's endowed by just a place of nobility.
Right.
He starts
okay.
He
Position.
position.
Mhm.
He goes through trials
Yes.
where then he must cling to his actual endowment, which had nothing to do with his wealth and his position,
Mhm.
but had everything to do with the actual gifts.
We have a plan.
We have a plan.
Then we open the gates and I'll lead them both through. Then I will shut it real fast, and then we'll tie the gate with the string. And then we'll lead them up the canyon. Open the gate, brown gates.
Okay. We're saying you
Getting horses out of the corral on their own. They are 6 and 5.
Actually, that is a really well thought out plan. But you can't carry it out until I come outside.
The plan that my little niece and nephew had interrupted the podcast significantly, and so we had to take a break for a while, get things straightened out with them. So what I've done is I've put part 2 of our conversation in another episode where we are continuing our discussion on heroes and protagonists, the differences and the things similar. Please like, share, subscribe, comment if you completely agree or completely disagree with the sentiments that we have in our video. Let us know in the comments. We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching. I upload every Wednesday. Tune in next time for part 2 of Heroes.